and we know that the God Almighty that we serve will punish Mahmoud Yakubu. He will not go free. We are going to organize protests anywhere we see him. We are writing letters to all international communities, all embassies. Everybody must know that he is a fraud. Inec is a fraud, and we will not allow it. In an unjust society, silence is a crime.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Plan B TV News. I know a lot of you want to know how the gubernatorial elections in Kogi State went. But first of all, I want you guys to watch the full reactions of Dino Melaye, who were also a contestant on the PDP political party. We'll be right back to do some messages to the video.
Anyway, I want to start by saying that there was no election in Kogi State. What we had is vote allocation by Inec, and Inec is a great disappointment. Inec is a fraud. Inec lacks integrity. Inec and Mahmoud Yakubu, they are the bane of our democratic development. They are the reason why we are where we are. And I think big shame on Mahmoud Yakubu, because this off-season election gave Inec and himself the opportunity to redeem their image, or images, as the case may be. They had an opportunity to become born again. They had an opportunity to erase their very negative past. But unfortunately, Inec is now oozing. Nigerians are tired. Nigerians have lost faith completely with what happened yesterday in Kogi State in the democratic process. They've lost faith in Inec. They've lost faith in democracy. They've lost faith in government. And what we have now is government without governance. Because it is appalling and disgraceful and shameful that Mahmoud Yakubu, a father who have children, will brazenly commit this unpatriotic sin, against Nigerians. For example, in Okene, the beavers were not used at all. There was manual accreditation took place in the entire central senatorial district. In the 5 local governments, I can tell you clearly that there were no accreditations through the beavers. It was manual thing. In 2019, Bello wrote the results. And that time, Okene local government, for example, had 112,000 as against less than 1,000 by the PDP. But in 2023 presidential and national assembly elections, the beavers was used in the central senatorial district. And because the beavers was used, APC only scored 20,000 votes in Okene local government, while PDP had 12,000 votes. Put together, the votes in Okene local government in 2023, February this year, was less than 40,000. But from the same local government that produced less than 40,000, this time around, APC recorded 141,538. The same local government that produced less than 40,000 now produced about 160 or 50,000 votes. I mean, that is ridiculous. I shared a document with Arise, where you will see
it on the screen,
where you will see that the registered voters, for example, for Adabi local government, I'm not talking of PVC collected. I'm talking of registered voters. For Adabi local government is 114,663. Then you now see accredited voters, 55,115. But APC scored 101,000. When accredited voter is 55,115. How on earth can you have over 90% of registered voters? I'm not even talking of PVC collected. Even in the United States of America, where you have a civilized democracy, you cannot have over 90% votes of registered voters. Because over the years, many are dead, many have, and now you're not even talking of PVC collected. Go to Okene. Okene have 151,243 registered voters. And number of votes cast is 141,538. Is it possible for you to have 97% votes cast as against registered voters, not even PVC collected?
Especially in the context.
And you do not even have up to this amount of PVC collected. That is where they were so stupid and myopic and porous and intellectually stagnant. Because the votes cast is more than PVC collected. because registered voters is 151,000. PVC collected is less than that. And now the vote cast is even more than the number of PVC collected. That was what happened in the Central Senatorial District. And from this document that I have here, this is from the back end of Inec. We have all the RF.
The back end of their server.
Their server. Yeah. This is from there. And I challenge Mahmoud Yakubu. Let him this minute produce a copy of the back end server if this is not what they are going to have. But this evening now, they've started changing the figures on the RF portal. You understand? But we already downloaded it yesterday to about 97.6% uploaded. I will explain that to you. Deliberately, there was an orchestrated plan for Dino to come third, distant third, because they believe if I come second, I will have reasons to knock off the first person.
You'd have a stronger case.
The first thing is that there was a meeting where that decision was taken, and I got the intel that Dino must come distant third. We cannot risk him coming second because he will have a way of knocking off Odudu. So that is why I'm saying that Ajaka should not be excited that he came second, because all those figures from the eastern part of the country are allocated to him for deliberate reasons, because they want him. They are afraid that if I come second and there's a rerun, I have inroad in the east, I have inroad in the central, and Ajaka doesn't have that inroad in the west or in the central. So Dino must be completely knocked off, his votes must be suppressed, he must come distant third. But the problem is this. The same thing happened in the presidential election, where they allowed Labour to win Lagos. It was allocated. Where they gave Kwankwaso Kano, it was planned. It was pure arithmetic, because they already knew that they padded votes in other areas to completely demystify what happens in Lagos, and that's exactly what they have done here. Votes were allocated for Ajaka in the east to make it look, to give semblance of fairness and equity or something. But that is all fraud. There was no election anywhere. There's overvoting in 17 local governments, including the Jumu local government where I come. When I ran for the Senate for the first time, I won with about 90-something thousand votes from the West Senatorial Districts. When I ran the second time, I won with 60-something thousand votes in the West Senatorial Districts. Then you are now saying in the entire states, I won with 46,000 votes. I mean, Inec is oozing. Inec is a shame. And we have children. They forget that there's a God factor in the affairs of men. We will make sure Mahmoud Yakubu and his co-travelers suffer and they get the reaction of Nigerians on this. We will use every legitimate means.
Well, to be fair,
every legitimate means.
To be fair to what you're saying,
yes,
and we obviously don't take any sides. I mean, until there is a clear, demonstrable cause.
My brother, I'm showing
evidence.
you documents.
I understand that.
Documents don't
but
lie.
Obviously, these things have to be verified in a court of law.
You can go to Inec portals and speak with you.
What I'm trying to say is that what you're saying tallies with what the situation room, the civil society situation room that objectively monitors elections,
because the truth has no volume.
Has been
you can't
saying,
reduce it, you can't increase it.
But I can't comment on that, because obviously that would have to be. But surely this is a classic issue for the new government of Bola Tinubu.
My brother, before now, I've seen different style of rigging. I've seen digital.
Well, you must have. I mean, you're a politician, so you're just as,
if you allow me to
equally
express this
guilty,
point,
aren't you?
I've seen digital rigging. I've seen snatching of ballot papers. I've seen inflation of results.
Have you taken part in any of them?
I've never in my life seen this pattern that was used in Kogi State. It's legendary.
Yeah, but have you taken part? Have you taken?
Institutional.
Yeah, this one obviously, if it in fact it is the case, I mean, was so. You seem surprised.
Surprisingly done. I never imagined that it could be done.
But what I'm wondering is that have you done any measure of what you're talking about? You say you've seen ballot boxes snatched, because I mean it's a matter of who outrigs the other person.
I'm saying in the past. I'm saying that comparative analysis with the past. I've seen different types of rigging.
Right.
But this brazen daylight robbery, I've never seen it before. And Inec demonstrated that they are co-travelers with APC in this business. The speed with which they accepted all the concocted results, all the handwritten, results written even before accreditation, with all the mutilations I have shown you, reducing votes of PDP openly and increasing that of APC, and people voting above accreditation, people even voting above, results of votes shown is more than PVC collected. I've never seen this type before. And it is appalling. And we know that the God Almighty that we serve will punish Mahmoud Yakubu. He will not go free. We are going to organize protests anywhere we see him. We are writing letters to all international communities, all embassies. Everybody must know that he is a fraud. Inec is a fraud, and we will not allow it. In an unjust society, silence is a crime.
They rip Dino Melaye. Anyway, it didn't end there. I want you guys to also watch this particular video of how this man said that definitely we have lost hope in the judicials, and at the same time we lost hope in the Inec, that it will take Inec another about 12 years to build a trust for Nigeria.
Well, to tell you the truth, I acknowledge the insecurity, and it's a big component of voter confidence, right? But the biggest letdown I see here is on the confidence people have on Inec as an entity. And in my own analysis, I believe that it will take Inec an upwards of 10 years to restore the confidence they so flippantly lost in 2023. And that's my own personal analysis, because you have to conduct at least 2 presidential elections to be able to convince the ordinary Nigerians that you are now ready for their
but I mean, it can be incremental.
Yes, so you take it
we've got this election coming up.
Yes.
And Inec is trying to put in confidence building measures. One of them is to say that if there is violence in a polling booth, a polling unit, we will not count the results in that polling unit.
It's interesting that they will say that, because in one of our studies we found out something that is called selective application of violence. And what you call selective application of violence is, if I am a candidate running for office, I should be able to know where I should, do well in terms of polls. I also would be able to determine where I will not win the elections. And in that case, I can sponsor my people to go in those opposition strongholds to cause violence. And so if you have an Inec whose template is, we will not count anywhere there's violence.
So we can go and disrupt the election
so
and then you won't count.
You're now encouraging politicians to do election. That's what
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me. And I said this again, that Inec has to be conscious and again, it's not just Inec now. What I've seen across Nigeria is this gradual decline in trust. And trust is a very big entity when you talk about societal cohesion. Whether you're talking about the judiciary, police, it's declining. And then when you get to that, you don't longer leave things to institutions to manage. I'll give you an instance. By 14 minutes past 1 p.m. on the presidential election, the February 25th, Inec, we are still recruiting ad hoc staff in Anambra State. And we have evidence to this. And so where you can't do the basic that we expect you to do, people have to now take an oversized interest in seeing and indeed policing Inec and other people to do their jobs. And this is where I invite Nigerians that we have to look at our laws, we have to look at participation. Gone are the days where you lay back and you expect the organizations to do their bits. Now you have to be involved in the process to make sure that even when you discover that they are not able to do their bit, that you encourage them and keep their feet to fire until they do that. Let me say this. I don't believe the people we have in positions of responsibility have the full appreciation of what people do when they vote. For instance, for a woman take any community in Mango local government of Plateau State, when they vote, they are not giving you just votes, they are giving you their lives. Because shortly after that election, herdsmen will attack. And they are looking at who do we call in the middle of the night that can save us. For the pregnant woman, they will go to the hospital and they will not find medical disposables. For the other person, you might have accident on the road and you will find emergencies. So when people vote, they are giving you their blood, they are giving you their life. And so what Inec is counting is, to me, is not mere ballots. They are counting the blood and life and sacrifices and aspirations of a nation. And then anytime you tamper with that, it's a huge, huge letdown. You take this, for instance, our parents and your generation, of course, never really recovered from 1993. And after 1993, you saw a decline in civic participation. And 2023 was another watershed moment. And I don't expect to see decline in participation of young people, but it's beginning to happen in our conversations. And what I say to that is that we'll have to keep going at it until we're able to get to that place where votes count. As of today, it's unfortunate that people have to have this kind of discussions to talk about the confidence people have in the system. Because for instance, you take the risk and present yourself at the polling units. With all the insecurity, you know you stand a great risk of being injured, being harmed, being maimed, or even being killed. And then you still take that risk to come out and vote. And then after that voting, something happens along the way. It's not a good experience, and I encourage our policymakers to look into it.
I want you guys to tell me what will take about these elections. If you know that elections were conducted in your city or your state, please let us know in the comment section. How was the election? Was it fair? Was there any suspicious acts during the election? Please comment your thoughts. Until we meet again, stay tuned with Plan B TV.
Plan B TV. Plan B TV. Everybody make you welcome to Plan B TV. I'll give you the news, I see the hot up. You subscribe and give them thumbs up. Now they go give you the updates. And the new blocks in the town. Now they go give you the gist though. Now they go give you all the news, cause it's kind of weather you need all the fun, oh. I said now who they is on a Plan B TV. Plan B TV. I said now who they is on a Plan B TV. Plan B TV. I said now who they is on a Plan B TV. Plan B TV. Plan B TV. Plan B TV. Plan B TV.